Hello, maradyaw na adlaw sa tanan, especially to our dearest instructor, Dr. Myla Milyundaga. Today, I will be discussing with you one of the subtopics in Chapter 4, Curriculum Development, entitled Systematic Design Model. So stay tuned! Now, let's be acquainted with the person behind Systematic Design Model. Now, who is Robert M. Diamond? Robert Diamond was a professor of instructional design, development and evaluation and of higher education of Syracuse University in New York. He developed the systematic design model in the early 1960s. Now, what is a systematic design model? Diamond's model of instructional development, or ID, was created to be used by institutions of higher learning. It focuses on individual classes as well as complete curriculum. It stresses sensitivity towards political and social issues on campus and within individual departments within the university or college. So the model believes that instructional design must be completed as a team and must follow organizational priorities and missions. So the model has two basic bases. First base is what we call this as project selection and design. And the second phase is production, implementation, and evaluation. Like some other previous models, it follows a linear process of curriculum development. Diamond explained that ideally, some actions must precede others, and certain decisions should not be made until all relevant facts are known. It is imperative that all data must be complete before proceeding to the next step. Now, let's be acquainted with the two phases in a systematic design model. The first phase is what we call as the project selection and design. In phase 1, the feasibility and desirability of the project launch are examined. Of course, it establishes needs and ensuring the success. The ideal selection of the project is made based on the basic planning inputs that are project specific. Now, what are those project specific? The first one is the domain of knowledge. The second one is the student knowledge, attitudes, and priorities. The third one is the social needs. The fourth one is research. And the last but not the least is the educational priorities. Now, those are the things to consider in phase 1, namely project selection and design. Phase 2 is what we call as the project production, implementation, and evaluation. Since it's a systematic design model, of course, it is already evident that it undergoes a process, right? So in phase 2, development of each unit includes a 7-step or a process. The first step is you're going to determine its objectives or determining its objectives. The second, after you determine, you're going to have a design or design and evaluation instruments and procedures. The third step is selection of instructional formats and examining existing materials. After you select an instructional format and you examine already the existing materials, of course, you need to produce or producing new materials or modification of materials. After that, after you produce, of course, you need to coordinate or coordinating your logistics for implementations. Okay, so the fifth process is you're going to have a full-scale implementation. After you implement your curriculum, you are open or you are evaluated or open for evaluation, and of course, if there's any concern or there's an additional inputs regarding with your output, of course, you need to have your revision. Now, that's the process or that's the things to consider in phase 2, the project production, implementation, and evaluation. I have here further explanation or information about a systematic design model. So, systematic design model is considered as prescriptive and rational. It represents a systematic and linear view of curriculum development. So, the use of diagrams is an excellent way of helping curriculum workers to visualize the entire curriculum development process. As shown in phase 1, as I have discussed earlier, some curriculum influences and sources are also acknowledged in the process of curriculum development. So these curriculum sources and influences are used to determine the objectives of the curriculum. The model relies heavily on data. Therefore, it is important to gather necessary information before proceeding to each of the process. Example, this curriculum practice allows research to influence curriculum processes and encourages a team approach to curriculum development. Now, what is the importance or the relevance of a curriculum development? Curriculum development has a broad scope. It is not only about the school, the learners, and the teachers, but it is also about the development of society in general. Second phase of the model allows the curriculum workers to design for the production and implementation of the curriculum and on the importance of the evaluation of instructional materials to ensure the smooth implementation of the curriculum. As I have discussed earlier, the second phase of the model undergoes a process. There are 7 steps or process in phase 2. Okay, so the model involves a series of tasks which is carefully followed may result in a relevant and effective curriculum. So similar to the weaknesses of linear models presented earlier by the reporter, the model of Diamond ends in phase 2. According to the book, the model if applied in the Philippines will probably be difficult for us. Why? Because of the lack of research culture in our education institution. Now, what is the importance of having a research culture? Having a research culture among faculty members can improve the way higher education curricula are planned. Of course, the result of this research can serve as basis for developing curricula and in proposing necessary changes in the curriculum. I think that's it for my part. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any queries or questions, you can also search that online. You can search my topic online, okay? So thank you so much for listening and I do hope you learned something from me. And stay safe. Marajon adlaw sa tanan.